chemicals. Oh yeah, chemicals. Plastic. Oh, plastic's a wonderful thing. Think about it. Back in the days of hemp, not a lot of plastic going on. Oh, but there was this guy, Henry Ford, who built a car mostly out of hemp. Ran on hemp. It had plastic body made of hemp plastic. Hemp makes an oil. The oil can be turned into a plastic. Hey, you know what the difference between hemp oil and crude oil is, though? Well, when you burn it, there's not all this sulfur that screws up the atmosphere. And when you're done with it, you can actually mulch it and make it biodegradable, which means your car bodies go back into dirt, not landfills. That's right. Landfills are filled with used, discarded oil. Now, is any of this starting to kick in yet? See, here's another thing about hemp. If you put hemp in the ground, you pretty much don't need to give it any fertilizer. And it basically fertilizes the ground. So let's say you want to grow corn. Okay, you grow corn and it robs all the nutrients out of the dirt. Just screws it all up. Requires all this plowing and things of that sort. Now, when you're done with your corn, if you put hemp there next year and you with the rotate crops. You've heard of that, right? Well, the hemp will put all the nutrients back into the ground. It will also break up the ground because it has these giant roots, which means you won't have to plow it as much, and it won't get so compacted, and you don't lose. It's like when they gave people 40 acres and a mule to grow cotton. Yeah, the first couple of years, the cotton grew great, but every year after that, it got worse and worse and worse. You end up with the freaking Dust Bowl. Why? Because it's not a very good crop. That's why. But if you rotate all your crops with hemp, well, there are a couple things that happen here. A, you make lots of money. B, you're not going to spend a whole lot of money on gasoline for all those tractors anymore. Not like you would for corn. Oh, there's this other problem. Oh, well, pesticides and fertilizers. You won't be needing that very much. Who owns that? Oh, yeah, chemical companies. Right, oil. Yeah, humanity did function prior to pesticides and fertilizers. Humanity did function prior to putting all this crap in the ground and washing it into our streams and ruining all our water. Yeah, there was a day where humanity functioned without the oil industry. Oh, wait, what was that other thing? Oh, yeah, it did it really well. So, look at here. I don't want to hear any more complaining about BP. If you want to complain about yourself. Complain about your inability to get your friends together to go down and demand that our farmers be allowed to have jobs again. Go down and demand that we open up the multi-billion-dollar industry that hemp would open up. Yeah, the 50,000 products that hemp would open up to the general public. It's like dropping a pebble in a three-dimensional pond and watching the ripples go out in every direction. When you remove oil from this equation, the entire world is given an opportunity to repair itself. You want to not do that because you're worried that someone might smoke some pot, because the industrial hemp won't get you hot, but it looks the same. So someone might be able to, do a little shuffle, and you're worried that some person might smoke marijuana and get away with it, and trashing the entire earth with the ethics of the oil industries is worth that. You're a flippin' idiot. A lot of people have been asking me, and I have avoided the question for a while, what do I think of drugs? I got a pretty open education when it came to drugs. My choices were simple. I've never been drunk in my life. I think alcohol is flippin' ridiculous. I've never taken acid. I'm a little creative as it is. I can't imagine taking this brain and sticking acid in it and not being any kind of a good idea. No. I tried some mushrooms a couple times. Yeah, it was kind of fun. It was interesting. Okay, whatever. I had a rule. If I was going to get them from you, I'd hand you some, say, eat these. I'll try them after you don't die. And, of course, the big question, yeah, I smoked a forest of weed. I smoked enough weed Well, I smoked a lot of pot. But then I grew up. I grew out of it. It got old. It held me back. It held me down. I was using it to keep from being an asshole. It dawned on me one day I could come up with other ways not to be an asshole. And I started using those ways, and all of a sudden, pot was just like, I'm not getting anything done. Why bother? And it got old. Ultimately, the whole usefulness of grass just sort of wore off, and so that was that. So at the moment, it's not really my thing, you know? So I understand what it was like to do it. I understand that people still like to do it. It's their life. They should do what they want to do. It's none of my business. What is my business is to sit here and tell you that, without a doubt, prohibition of anything is bad. I don't understand how no one figured this out from the alcohol. I mean, prohibition is what started gang violence, for Christ's sake. If you have prohibition of a substance that people want, then it creates a black market. It creates a problem. Prohibition is going to kill 10 times the amount of innocent people that the actual drug will. So the idea that we have to destroy the world in order to keep drugs illegal is flippin' ridiculous. So how do I feel about drugs? Look, if you're shooting crack, you're an idiot. If you're shooting heroin, you're a moron. If you're drinking all the time, that's why I don't hang out with you. If you're a wake and bake pothead and you can get stuff done, okay, but I'm just telling you, eventually it's probably going to get old, and if it doesn't, well, you're probably limiting yourself. Meth? Why don't you just go snort some Comet and shoot yourself in the head? It's not exactly, oh, drugs are bad, okay? I understand drugs well enough to know that drugs are not going to bring the world to its knees. Certain people get carried away with drugs. Certain people get carried away with alcohol. You know what? Certain people get carried away with flippin' Twinkie. It's a ridiculous reason to put people in jail. It's a ridiculous reason to have the rest of us paying for people sitting in jail. A war on drugs. That's the most losingest war. The war on drugs didn't go nearly as well as Vietnam. What it does do is finance corruption. The black market, the gangs, the violence, all of that is created by prohibition, not by drugs. And this environment that you're tired of watching going down the crapper, yeah, same thing. Same damn excuse. Some bunch of numbtards got together and decided it was a moral issue, when in fact, no, it's not a moral issue. No, the morality of it was an idea that was purchased and delivered with the money of the people who were interested in putting their competition out of business. Right. That is why this mess is your fault, because you're not doing anything about it. Nobody seems to have the balls. Look, there's only one way you're going to solve the oil crisis, this problem. And by oil crisis, I don't mean shortage. Whatever. I don't believe in any kind of shortage. I really don't. If there's a shortage, I suggest we all use it up. I want a shortage, because then we can move on to something that's halfway decent. So, where's the solution? Simple. Go tell everybody. Prove it to them. Print it out. Show it to them. Show them the history of it. Show them the logic of it. Pass this video around if you want. Hey, download it. Upload it under your own name and take the credit. I don't care. Just get the word out so that somebody can line up in front of a congressman's door, not in his email, in front of his door. I want 10,000 people banging on his door, and not a bunch of flippin' potheads either. Jesus, you guys make us look bad. No, I want people in suits with short hair, go to church, things like that. People who had relatives who used to be farmers, who were put out of business, who ended up having to move to the city and die a slow, stressful, torturous, smog-filled death because they were put out of business by the oil industry that stole their hemp farm from them. That's right. Those are the kind of people I want. Those people that say that they're somehow conservative and that they have morals. You know what? If you had morals, you'd stop these bastards from ripping off our freedom to have a decent farm that runs correctly, instead of forcing us into buying all these chemicals and wasting our waters. I live in a sort of a farming community, and then there's an interesting blend here, which it's like, on the one hand, they've got this sort of religious conservatism, but then on the other hand, they've also got this thing where they're tied to the corporations and the government screwing with them, and somehow this bunch of numbtards hear the Republicans saying, "Yay, God, less government," and they put that together. And it's just being fed to them like baby food. And they put that together and say, "Oh, I'm a Republican, I'm pro-oil." And it's the oil companies that are ruining their lives. So I don't want to hear a bunch of more crap about liberal, conservative, socialism, commies, all this. Up that flippin' sandbox, all right? I'm tired of hearing all this distractful garbage. It doesn't flippin' matter. If you want to solve some problems, open freedom back up. Put freedom back up on the table. Get it where we can make choices. Give us choices. Because you know what? If I see a pump that says hemp gasoline and a pump that says BP gasoline, then I can start boycotting something. If I buy a box that says all plastic in here is biodegradable, then I have a choice. A choice of liberal or conservative, a choice of this brand of gasoline or that brand of gasoline. That's not a choice, that's a joke. And who's the punchline? Me, for believing it could possibly be true. So here's what I suggest. All you weed-smoking potheads, shut the hell up and stay out of sight. Talk some normal people into understanding this problem. And try to be sober when you do it. Don't, "Hey man, yeah. No, dude, no, wait, man. No, wait, man. No, seriously. No, totally, man. I'm telling you, the answer to all our problems, dude, weed. Ain't no one listening to you anymore. They didn't get past, dude. No, they ain't listening no more. Shut the hell up. All right, so now look, I know a lot of you folks who like to listen to me scream and yell. I know a lot of you guys are stoned out of your brains, and that's half of what makes me tolerable. It's you other folks that we need on the wagon here. It's you sane, sober, normal, got a job as a lawyer, vote, can write a letter, people take you seriously. Not like me. It's you folks. You guys are the ones that need to get up off your couches, turn off the TV, go out there, and put out a little bit of effort. You soccer moms who are all upset about the birdies. You know what? Okay, fine. I understand you're upset about the birdies, and you want to boycott someone. You want heads to roll. You want prosecution. I don't want prosecution. I couldn't care less about prosecution. Why? Because those prosecutors get paid. They get paid by the government, who allows these ridiculous oil companies to exist in the first place. I don't believe that there's any kind of justice there whatsoever. If you want justice, make it yourself by putting their competitors back in business. If you're a publicist, if you're in a position to help in any way, shape, or form to help hemp farmers come back into this world, I think you should be doing it for free. You call yourself a patriot, you want to talk about, support the troops. You know what? If you want to support the troops, get rid of oil. Quit buying oil. Quit buying nylon ribbons and putting them on your truck. Those little yellow ribbons, they're made out of oil. They're made out of oil. Right. Let's support the troops by buying more of what keeps killing them, us, and everything around us. Right. Sure. That makes sense.